Vocaloid was first announced in 2003 at Music Messe, one of the world's largest music industry trade shows, held in Frankfurt, Germany. Leon and Lola were the first Vocaloids released to the public the following year. Mako was the very first Japanese Vocaloid released. This was also the first collaboration with Krypton Future Media. Kaito was the second Japanese Vocaloid released by Krypton Future Media in 2006. 2007 was the year Vocaloid 2 and Hatsune Miku were released. Miku's release date, often celebrated as her birthday, is August 31st. Hatsune Miku and the Kagamines have box art for their Vocaloid 4 Japanese packages, but not for their English voice banks, which are only sold digitally or bundled with their Japanese physical boxes. Miku's append contains 6 voice banks. Hatsune Miku's name means first sound of the future. In 2014, Hatsune Miku performed 6 songs as an opening act for Lady Gaga during her world tour. Otomania's rendition of Yevon Polka using Hatsune Miku was the first Vocaloid work to reach 1 million views on both YouTube and Nico Nico Doga. Gumi has the most unique voice banks of any Vocaloid. Hatsune Miku has 3 demo songs: Fragments of Star by Eiji Hirasawa, Hide and Seek by Kuroki Yosuke, and Pops by an unknown producer. These were the very first Miku songs ever made and shared online. Hatsune Miku's voice provider, Saki Fujita, has also voiced the following anime characters: Ymir from Attack on Titan, Cure Macaron from Pretty Cure, Akagi from Kentai Collection, and Ayano Sugiura from Yuro Yuri, among her various other roles. Rin and Len were originally drawn with yellow eyes instead of blue. Despite 39 being the quote-unquote Miku number, and Good Smile Company being very connected to Vocaloid culture, the number 039 in the Nendoroid series is not Hatsune Miku, it is actually Kagamine Rin. A Miku Tamagotchi toy, Hatsune Mikuchi, was released in March 2023. Miku can evolve into one of her magical Mirai costumes, or a different Pia Pro character, depending on how she's cared for. If she is completely neglected and given the worst care possible, she evolves into Kaito. Project Sakai Colorful Stage is one of the few official pieces of Krypton-involved Vocaloid media to assign specific heights to Mako and Kaito. Mako is 167 centimeters, or 5 foot 5 inches, and Kaito is 175 centimeters, or 5 foot 8. This is only canon to the Project Sakai universe, and not necessarily indicative of their official heights as Vocaloid mascots. Kaito's voice provider, Naoto Fuga, didn't like Vocaloid and its songs at first. Later though, he warmed up to it from seeing more illustrations and songs of Kaito, and he now loves Kaito very much. He collects Kaito merch, and often refers to him as his son. Aoki Lapis's name was chosen through a contest held in July 2011, 9 months before her release, and 3 months before the release of Vocaloid 3. Because they are fairies, Aoki Lapis and Merly are both tiny. Their respective canon heights are 15 centimeters, 5.9 inches, and 16 centimeters, 6.3 inches. Porter Robinson has said that he expected his first song with Ivana, Sad Machine, to be rejected by the Vocaloid community due to being made by an outsider, but the positive reception led to him taking inspiration from Vocaloid music in future works. The rings on Ivana's costume spin when she sings. Ivana's illustrator, Aki Glancy, makes sure to always draw Ivana with exactly 7 freckles on each cheek. Pouta was created to recreate the specific style of pitched-up singing that Porter Robinson used in his album Nurture, which was itself influenced by Vocaloid producers such as Deco27, Livetune, Sasakure UK, and Buzz G. The headphones Cyber Diva wears in her box art have been identified as a gold variant of Yamaha's discontinued HPH M82 headphones. Cyber Songman's sunglasses are based on a real pair of designer sunglasses. They are the KTZ football helmet model by Linda Farrow. V-Flower has 2 Twitter accounts. The first was made in April 2014 for her original Vocaloid 3 release, and has not been regularly updated since 2021. The second account was made to promote her release for Sevio AI, and she has mainly switched to using this Twitter account since March 2022, the month her Sevio voice bank was released. V-Flower is the first Vocaloid to have a song reach 100 million views on YouTube. The song is Goodbye Sengen by Chinozo. Its popularity on TikTok led it to gain traction and become the most viewed official upload of any Vocaloid song. Fukase's companion doesn't actually have an official name. The name Point comes from the file name of the image of the companion on Fukase's now defunct website, and was adopted by English-speaking fans as the companion's name. The name Point is mostly unused by Japanese-speaking fans. A special pack was available for Vocaloid 4 called a Creator Pack. It contains a Vocaloid 4 editor for Cubase version, a USB-powered audio unit, and the Cubase AI DAW. This was only available as a bundle with two Vocaloids, Fukase and VY1 V4. Special Gumi figurines were included exclusively with the limited edition release of the rhythm game Megpoid the Music. These figurines were made by Penguin Parade and included Gumi in her default costume and a tomboy costume. For her original release, Gumi was drawn with teal eyes in all of her artwork. It was not until her Vocaloid 3 release and onward when she was drawn with green eyes instead. Though there had been official Vocaloid concerts in the past, the first official Vocaloid concert using 3D technology was Vocafair 2011, an event organized by Yamaha to promote the release of Vocaloid 3. The Vocaloids featured, in order of most to least prominent, were Gumi, Akiko Loi-chan, Aoki Lapis, Tone Rion, and VY1. Gumi is, to date, the only Vocaloid other than Hatsune Miku to have a solo song in the Hall of Myth, songs that have achieved 10 million views on Nico Nico Doga. The song in question is Mosaic Roll by Deco27. VY1's original Vocaloid 2 package included a scent card meant to be inserted in a business card holder to provide fragrance. A rough translation of this card says, "This card has an incense with an original aroma. Please insert it into a business card holder and enjoy." The illustrator for VY1's Vocaloid 3 box art, Ryugu Tsukasa, also known as Mambo no Ane, is also the creator of the unofficial VY2 mascot character, Yuma, also known as Roro. There was one instance of a legitimate free version of Vocaloid. In 2013, Yamaha released a free app with optional additional features, which cost money, called Vocaloid First for iOS that includes a basic, lower quality version of VY1. There is a special Vocaloid editor for educational purposes. It is only given to schools who purchase a license, and it comes with VY1 and VY2. It has a simpler design and interface so children can use it easily, and it can only open VSQX files with less than 50 measures. While VY1 and VY2 are respectively marketed as feminine and masculine, they do not actually have genders. They are the first Vocaloids to be genderless as part of the concept of allowing more creative freedom from the producers. In 2014, VY2 V3 was ranked the most illegally downloaded Vocaloid vocal. At 12,434 downloads, this would have cost Yamaha about $847,125.51 in US dollars in sales. Utatane Pico was the first Vocaloid to have been released without a physical box, though a physical version was released later. Gallico's first voice bank was distributed in a Vocaloid music contest held by Yamaha. The contest began in November 2011, which was also when Gallico first made her debut as a character associated with the artist unit Galaxias. However, the name and character design for the prize voice bank was not actually revealed until 5 months later in April 2012. In 2013, several months after the prize copies of Gallico were distributed, there were reports of a glitch occurring in which the Vocaloid 3 editor would fail to open and display an expiration notice after computers automatically adjusted the clock for daylight savings time. The only solutions to this were to either disable daylight savings time or uninstall Gallico. It's likely that this was due to Gallico's original prize voice bank having an expiration date, and detecting a change in time triggered a false expiration to occur. An issue with daylight savings time would likely not have been noticed in development since Japan, where Gallico's developers and many of her users were from, does not practice daylight savings time. When released, Mayu was also available as a limited edition bundle with the Vocaloid 3 editor and 2 CDs of Mayu songs. This bundle included Mayu mousepads and cell phone straps. These each had 6 different designs, only one of each being included in the bundle. These were in limited stock and were not included in later bundles, making them extremely rare. Hiyama Kiyoteru has an official list of his favorite microphones. These include Behringer Ultra Voice XM8500, the Shure SM58, and Shure Beta 58A and Rode NT1A. His Vocaloid 4 rock illustration depicts him with a microphone, but is not any of those listed as his favorites, instead being the Shure 55S, which has also been drawn in the box illustrations for Sweet Anne, Lily, Mako V3, and Cyber Diva. There have been special iPhone cases made and sold based off of Kai Yuki and Hiyama Kiyoteru. Instead of simply having character illustrations, the phone cases have patterns and colors to represent the character, although Kiyoteru's still shows a silhouette. A version of Kai Yuki's V4 illustration with differently colored clothes exists. The only difference from her box illustration is that the red parts of her clothes are white, except for her Rando Suru backpack. This design only seems to exist on an acrylic keychain sold by AH Software. The instrument in Kai Yuki's Rando Suru is a woodwind synthesizer. It is specifically modeled after the WX5 Wind MIDI controller. Kai Yuki was originally designed with blonde hair. However, no concept art showing this has been publicly revealed. Because of her pink accents, Maknae Nana's Vocaloid 4 English design is also known as Rose Gold Nana, or Maknae Nana V4 Rose Gold Chan. Maknae Nana's hair was purple in the early concepts, during her creation as a GarageBand plugin. Maknae Petite was originally sold as part of the Mac exclusive vocal synthesizer made for Maknae Nana as a light version of Maknae Nana and not a separate character. She was rebranded as a younger sister to Nana due to popular fan interpretations of this being the case. Iroha's name is derived from the Iroha poem, an ancient Japanese poem known for containing every sound in the Japanese language and being used as a way of ordering the Japanese syllabary. Nakamura Iroha was originally designed for a promotional event held by Sanrio at Comic Market, a semi-annual doujinshi convention in Japan, in August 2009. Merchandise was sold with Iroha's Kitty Lure design, and she was referred to at the time as Super Kitty Lure. An alternate version of Nakamura Iroha's Vocaloid 2 illustration appears to exist without the speakers on her arms or the Hello Kitty helmet, instead being replaced with the headband from her Kitty Lure design. This was used to advertise an illustration contest for Iroha's first anniversary, but otherwise seems to be very rare. Vocatone began releasing a monthly webcomic called Olirondo in April 2023, written and drawn by Crossyloid, depicting the daily life of Oliver and his bird James. Oliver's voice provider was only 13 years old when he lent his vocals. For legal reasons, his identity was never revealed, other than being a British choir boy. Oliver's clothes are mainly inspired by the uniform of the Vienna Boys Choir, a long-running choir of soprano and alto boys based in Austria, as well as upper-class 18th and 19th century fashion. Oliver is used as a voice actor in the web series Bee and Puppycat, as the voice of Puppycat. He only speaks in gibberish with English subtitles. This may have been one of the main factors in Oliver's rising popularity after his release. Otomachi Una's first demo was revealed before her designs and her name. At the time, she was simply known by her voice bank names, Sugar and Spicy. Even though Otomachi Una is sold with 2 different voice banks that each have a separate mascot, her voice banks are never sold separately, and both mascots are on the box. Before Una's name was revealed, fans believed that the mascots were 2 completely separate Vocaloids because of this. Megarine Luca was the first Vocaloid to have a custom dictionary for use in the editor, made for her English voice bank, which is still available for download from Krypton Future Media's website. It includes numbers, character names, and Japanese characters. When developing Megarine Luca's Vocaloid 4 voice banks, developer Sasaki Wataru used the voice of Utao Gahata Meiji as a template to help bring out the unique vocal qualities of Luca's voice provider, Asakawa Yu. Kamui Gakpo has an official guidebook to his software, published about 2 months after his initial release in 2008. The book is only sold on Amazon Japan and also includes info about how the software was developed, downloadable samples, and an interview with voice provider Gact. The symbol on Kamui Gakpo's fan in his original box art is a stylized version of the kanji character Gak. This character may be a reference to both Gakpo's name and the Japanese word for music, ongaku. Kamui Gakpo was the first non-Krypton Vocaloid to be given an Nendoroid figure, released in September 2012. At the time of his release, Kamui Gakpo was the most expensive Japanese Vocaloid. This was due to him being the first Japanese Vocaloid voiced by a famous singer, Gact. IA was released in January 2012 and was not given an age for her character. IA was the first Vocaloid 3 voice bank to have songs on Nico Nico Doga hit 1 million views. This was attained within 6 months of her release. IA Rocks was made to make up for the issues of IA's original V3 release. More specifically, it aimed to offer a more powerful voice with more clarity for IA. Merly has a reversible box jacket. The default box cover shows her silhouette, but it can be flipped to display a color illustration instead. Sachiko wears a backwards obi on her waist. This is a style associated historically with oiran, high-class Japanese courtesans, and currently with kabuki actors playing the role of oiran. The kanji on Sachiko's fan is read as Sachi. The calligraphy of it was written by Sachiko's voice provider, Sachiko Kobayashi. Midori Fu, Sachiko's illustrator, explained that the design of Sachiko's kimono and headdress is based on the Yuki Tsubaki, or snow camellia flower. This flower comes from the official tree of the Niigata Prefecture, where Sachiko's voice provider, Sachiko Kobayashi, was born. It was also meant as a reference to one of Sachiko Kobayashi's songs, Yuki Tsubaki. Even though she has no known voice banks in development, CU had a crowdfunding campaign for a collaboration album to celebrate her 10th anniversary in 2021. New merchandise was made to be distributed to crowdfunders, including an acrylic keychain and a plushie. CU has a male derivative named ZU. Unlike other popular gender-bent variants of Vocaloids, ZU is completely official and is illustrated by CU's illustrator, KKUEM. However, he is only used as a character and is not meant to have his own unique voice bank. Vocaloid was recorded in his voice provider's hometown of Sundsvall, Sweden. This was likely able to be arranged as one of the companies developing him, PowerFX, is based in Sweden. The small cube companion in Vocaloid's illustration was originally unnamed, but his illustrator, Sartika Nurhasana, decided to give him the name Cubie after seeing the name used by fans and thinking it was cute. Despite being a monolingual Spanish Vocaloid, Micah's current most viewed song on YouTube is Happy Days with over 4.7 million views, an English song made by producer Ghost. Micah was developed with extra phenoms for emulating other languages. To demonstrate this, demo songs were made to demonstrate her singing not only in Spanish, but also Catalan, Brazilian Portuguese, Italian, English, and Japanese. Unlike the other AH software releases at the time, Miki was developed mostly by a now-defunct small entertainment company called Heartfast. They were also originally going to develop Utatane Pico before complications led to the Vocaloids being split apart. SF-A2 Miki's original design is meant to be an android made of inorganic material with the appearance of a young teenage girl at about 14 years old, though she has not been given a canon age. On April Fool's Day of 2016, it was announced that Rana would be quitting Vocaloid to become a magical girl, along with a concept sketch of her new magical girl design. This design would end up being used for Rana's release of the mobile Vocaloid editor. Rana's hood has holes for the amps on her head. When pulled up, her hood is meant to resemble bear ears. This bear motif is likely a reference to the name of her voice provider, Kakuma Ai. Ai's fanbase often calls her Kuma-chan, with Kuma meaning bear. Rana was given a rainbow motif to symbolize the creative freedom producers could have when using her. Sonica only has one voice bank in English, but she has 5 separate unique boxes, more than any other individual Vocaloid release. This includes her original box, her redesigned box, her Chinese box, and her special edition Chinese box, and her Taiwanese box. Zola Project is a release package for the Vocaloid 3 software containing the voices of 3 male singers, Yu, Kyo, and Will. The box art illustration was done by the Final Fantasy character designer Yoshitaka Amano. The Project Diva rhythm game series, featuring the Kryptonloids and developed by Sega, has sold over 6 million copies. Hatsune Miku starred in an opera titled The End in December 2012 at the Yamaguchi Center for Arts and Media. The speakers on Nakamura Iroha's hands are called dynamic phonon busters. The other set of cat ear speakers are called chorus speakers. Each of these move around supporting her. Iroha's birthday is May 14th, which was confirmed by voice provider Kyonosuke Yoshitate. The Vocaloid producer Pinocchio P often sings the backing tracks of his songs himself. Kikuo was the first Vocaloid producer to hold a concert outside of Japan. The producer Ryo produced the main themes for almost every Project Diva game. There are less than 150 quote-unquote official Vocaloid songs. This list includes iconic songs like Electric Angel, Yevan Polka, and Melt. Miku's signature item is a spring onion, not a leek. In 2012, fans successfully petitioned the Japanese space agency, JAXA, to include images of Hatsune Miku on the Akatsuki space probe. The probe was sent to study the planet Venus, carrying 3 small aluminum plates with Miku's picture on them.
Good night, sweet dreams.